Hey guys, today we're going to go through assembling the new dust boot from YoraHome. It works for the CNC machines, it works for the Mandrill, the 3018 original and the 3018 with the spindle upgrade. I'm going to show you how to install it on each of them. It's very simple. We'll go through this real quick and we'll get you back up and running. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and we'll start with the Mandrill first and then we'll work our way over to the 3018. So if you're looking at your mandrel here, I would say about a ½ inch on all of them, maybe a ½ inch. The 3018, you could probably do it maybe with 3/8, but a ½ inch down, just enough that you want to get a good bite on this here. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to slide this up on here, then you're going to tighten it down, and then that's almost it. So you're going to slide it up there till it's about straight, however you want it. I mean, honestly, you could put it whichever way you want it, but I would say put it straight, and then you're going to go ahead and tighten up the screw. Now you don't want to over tighten it, you want to snug it, like mine's still going freely, and then a little snug, that's it. I mean, and just make sure it's not going to move. I mean, you don't want to break it because it's just 3D printed, so that's pretty much it. You don't want your spindle down much past it. If your spindle's down really far, what you're going to want to do, just so you know, so I told you this, if your spindle's down far, all you're going to want to do is, oh, mine can't come down much farther actually, not this one anyway, the 500 watt does. You're going to want to just keep this almost flush, a little bit above flush with the bottom here. You're not going to want to keep it all the way up to this here and then have your spindle down too far into this here. So that's what you don't want. So anyway, so go ahead and you just tighten that on, and then you just take your spacer and you put it on. Like so, snaps right on. If yours doesn't, make sure that the metal rods are facing upward. And then you go ahead and do your stuff, align it all up, do whatever you need to do. And then when you're ready to carve, you just take this piece and you snap it right on. So now you're set. You can tell your machine to 0 or whatever you want to do. Now, the hose is actually really simple. I'm going to take this back off and show you real quick. Obviously, which is great, this is the same piece for all the machines here, or the 2 different machines with the 3 different upgrades. So this comes off. So you're gonna notice you have some threads in here. And turn my camera here. The threads, basically, if you see the end of the hose here, all it pretty much does is just threads on there. It just threads on there. So that's it, you just screw it on there until it's like just snug. You'll see it won't go anymore, it's just snug right there. Now if you want, you can leave it on there and put it on like that, however you see fit to do it, or you could do it afterwards. I do it afterwards. I mean, that's just me. I tighten it on and then I just spin this around up above it and that's it. But that's how it goes. Just so you know, it actually just screws on into there, and if you want to store it, you can always take it back off. It just unscrews right back off. Just make sure it is kind of down, kind of snug, because, not super tight, but just snug, because you're going to want to make sure you seal that gap there of any vacuum. You know, you don't want any vacuum loss coming out the top of the hose here. So that is pretty much it for the mandrel. We have it goes on, slides right up, and then you tighten it up, and then you put your pieces on here. Oops. And then you put your hose on, and then you're pretty much good to go. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the 3018, and we're gonna show you the same exact thing with the spindle upgrade and with the original spindle. Okay, now the 3018 here, we have 3018. I've got the original spindle here, and then I also have the upgraded spindle, or the upgraded Z-axis. This has the 500 watt, and the 500 watt spindle is exactly the same as the mandrel. So go ahead and screw it all the way up to get some space there, and it is the exact same thing. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. It's the same thing. All we're doing is we're putting this up on top of the spindle, and then we're going to tighten it. Okay, as you can see, it goes on just like the mandrel. It's the same spindle diameter. So again, you want it about a about a ½ inch out, and you just slide it up on there and you tighten it up. Again, I want to show you one thing. the dust boot does not need to be all the way up. So let me explain something to you just real quick. So if you loosen your spindle, let's say you need your spindle to go lower for whatever reason, whoops, you need it to drop down, let's just say. And because you need you have a smaller boat or whatever. You don't want to put your dust boot all the way back up again. You don't want to do that. You want to bring it back down till it's almost flush, maybe just a little bit above, because you don't want all of this going inside your actual dust boot, because you're going to block the airflow. If this hits here, you're going to block the airflow. The airflow goes in here and then down. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to want to bring it. So if this was mine here, oops, it would actually be just like this right here. And then I would tighten it in. And as you can see, I still have about, it's just a little bit above flush, but I have a big gap here, and that's okay, because you don't want your spindle pushed down inside of your dust boot. So again, same concept as the mandrel. Snap it on, and whoop, I got it backwards. There, get it up here, and just like that. That's all you do. Now, let's move on to the original 3018 spindle. This same dust boot works for all three. This one works for the mandrel, it works for the 3018 with the upgraded spindle, and it works with the original spindle. Now, if you have a third-party spindle, most likely, if it's the same diameter, it will work for that one pretty much as well. It'll work for any of them, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead and move on to the 3018. Okay, here we have the 3018, the original spindle. And what we're going to do is, you should have gotten a ring and 2 screws with your dust boot, and then you also got your other pieces that we were just using for the larger spindle. Basically what you're doing is, look at your ring here, and there's a fat part and a thin part. The fat part is going to face you. It's going to go, in this instance, when you're looking at this, it's going to go towards the top here, towards outward. One thing you want to look for is, you see the 2 holes here, make sure that they're horizontal, because you're going to want the fat part facing outward, and there's 2 holes here that are going to line up with those screws. So basically you're going to just put this on the spindle, is how it goes, and then your dust boot, I call it the head unit, actually just fits right on top of that. And once it snaps on, and then you put it together like you did everything else. So let's go ahead and assemble this real quick. What I'm going to do is, yours is going to probably be on there like this. Just make sure that the fat part is facing you up here, and then I would raise it up as high as you can and look underneath it there, and you're going to see the 2 screws. The 2 holes, and you're going to go ahead and start with one. Kind of put it there, and you might have to turn this a little bit till it goes in, and just get it started. You don't want to tighten it all the way up till you get your other one in there. And same thing in there, and then you're going to snug it down. Again, you're just snugging it. It wouldn't hurt if you want to put some Loctite in it, because the with the vibrations and everything, it could come loose. So if you want to put a little Loctite in there, that's fine. And so once you get those on, then pretty much how this works, when this is sitting here, you have your dust boot head here, and make sure you loosen the screw, and then it actually just snaps right on it like that. If for some reason yours won't go on, loosen up your screw a little more, and it should just snap right on there. And then you could put it however you want it, side, front, forward, backward. I'll do mine on the front, and then you just tighten up this piece here. Oops. Okay, once you get this on there, make sure it's snug and it's not moving, and yours will look like this. And what you're going to do then is, you can use your 3/8 spacer, which was probably what you'll be using for the original spindle, and snap it on, and then the brushes just snap on like that as well. And again, yours will look like this, and then your hose just screws onto here. Now, like I said, you could actually put your hose on first if you want to, or do it afterwards. I do mine afterwards, it's just me, and then I actually just put it in, and then actually turn it, and that's how it fits on. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And happy carving.